What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary, and it will be some more high-level professional 2v2 play. Team number 1 over here in the bottom position of high orbit is EG's StrifeCro, the yellow Zerg player, and EG's Axlsav, the blue Terran player. And up in the northern position, we have got Mouse's Nova as the red Zerg, and the purple Protoss, Mouse's Tosh. Now, the first game here in this series between these two teams is here on high orbit, and let's go ahead and take a quick look around the map. We can see the main base here, which both players share, do have some destructible rocks plus a smoke screen there in the back of the base. Now, the front of the base is going to include this relatively large sized ramp. Just outside of that, we have got a high yield expansion with some destructible debris covering it. There are also 4 Xel'Naga towers here, 2 of which are located on the left and right side, and then the other 2 are right outside of both of the bases of both teams. Besides that, expansions located in the far lower right and far upper left position, and then also some additional expansions on the back side of either base. We can see we're now Scout coming out for Tosh after dropping down his 9 pylon, decided to move right on out with the Scout. We all do, of course, see that StrifeCro coming out here with a 12 pool, and so we'll be opening up with some one-base play here. Wouldn't be too surprised if we see Extractor very soon from him as well, allowing him to get a relatively early metabolic boost. Axlsav looking pretty standard with the 10 depot, 12 racks, and 13 refinery. Now we do have the probe scout over there actually checking the back rocks. Just wanted to make sure nothing fancy was going on down there. And they'll be moving out and hopefully doing a little bit of harass. And there we go. A little bit of SCV harass will be going down on Axlsav while he's attempting to build up this racks. And as you can see, actually forced to pull off completely there. So that severely delayed the production of Axslav's barracks there. And that's obviously a major problem, as that does delay his orbital command as well. Some more scouting going on over here as well. Axlsav moving on in, and he is scouting out Tosh, and Tosh appears to be going pretty standard here as well. Nothing too fancy. A couple of Zerglings from Nova will be chasing down Axslav's SCV. We've got the Cybernetics Core, as we do have Tosh trying to build up that wall to deal with any possible Zergling harass that we may be seeing over here from StrifeCro. A couple of Zerglings from Mana actually moving out, and we'll be getting a little bit of scouting and hopefully trying to do a little bit of harass here. Now, we will be seeing a StrifeCro respond to Nova Zerglings by pushing down with a few of his own, and also that one Marine just popping out for Axlsav, plus his bunker creation is actually going to force all of those Zerglings back, so not much more harass will be going on over there at all. Tosh coming out with a second assimilator back over here for Nova. He does have that metabolic boost coming on through. Zerglings just sitting out front at that Xel'Naga tower over there for Nova. We do have a factory coming out over here for Axlsav. Axlsav will also be dropping down that additional depot. Looks like he'll be doing that at the back here by these destructible debris. That will allow him to see if the opposing team attempts to push on against that. And actually, Zerglings making chase there to the one Zergling of StrifeCro, and this will be, again, doing some scouting, checking out the front of the base, and will actually be moving on up just to see what production buildings are up here. He wants to look for any weak spots, and actually able to move directly in, as Tosh's Zealot was a wee bit late. This is going to allow him to get some scouting. He wants to check out Nova's base, though. Wants to make sure there's no roach warren or anything fancy like that. Also checking for a second extractor or if a layer was coming on through. And actually pulling away right now, and this is going to allow him to escape, but unfortunately, those Zerglings just about to get their metabolic boost. That actually is going to allow them to catch on up. As we can see, metabolic boost not coming down over here for StrifeCro. Instead, he decided to go for that quick layer. A couple Speedlings, though, able to make it in here. Nova, with his Speedling research just finishing, able to get right up in Axslav's resources, and he will be able to do a lot of damage here. Will be forcing Axlsav to pull off of mining, trying to push down with a couple of his Marines, plus Zerglings from his Zerg ally, but unfortunately, that was not enough, and Axlsav with a lot of mining downtime right now. Couple more Marines, though, will be enough to actually mop up the rest of these Zerglings, but again, the Zerglings taking advantage of their mobility, doing as much harass as possible. This is really unbelievable. Axlsav taking some pretty hefty losses. Also, Sacrificial Overlord getting ready to push on in. Now, I'm not sure. Yes, he did not scout out StrifeCro at all. Nova not scouting out StrifeCro, did not see that layer finish or the fact that this infestation pit is coming out. So we will be seeing some infestors coming out here for StrifeCro and Axlsav almost momentarily. And again, delaying expansion, deciding to go for that quick layer and those quick infestors instead. Nova pushing on in, trying to get a little bit of scouted information, but actually pulling back. And then we can also see another expansion coming out over here for Nova, deciding not to break down those destructible debris to try to go for that high yield. Should also be checking for expansions down over here in that lower right position, as that is a very popular spot. I mean, we can see obviously Mouse's Nova doing that himself, so it would be wise for him to check down there. But I'm a bit surprised he worked his way down there, but didn't even bother scouting. There we go. Finally decided to move on in while he gets some reinforcements. So Wiz moving down to try to check to see if StrifeCro had expanded, but as we can see here, Nova spotting, okay, no expansion, so now he knows StrifeCro's on one base. Time to kind of figure out what he is going for. So hopefully Team Mouse is able to get some eyes as to what StrifeCro is doing, probably just opting to go for an Observer Scout or something like that. We actually also had an Overseer move on in, dropping a Contamination there on the Robotics, delaying that Observer from coming out, so very, very nice there. I hadn't even seen that Overseer move out, so pretty impressive play there, and it looks like that actually did get killed because I do not see him in play anymore. Well, there's an Overseer somewhere. Just have no idea where it is. Where is that Overseer? Where is that sneaky Overseer? He's got to be hiding. There he is. Look at that. I couldn't even see him on my mini-map. So StrifeCro hiding over there with his Overseer, and I do expect him to use that again at some point very, very soon. Scouting Zergling does get taken out by those siege tanks. That did allow him to scout out the fact that these Infestors are in play, though, and it does look like Axlsav moving on down. He's preparing to take that high-yield expansion after working his way through those destructible debris. Another Zergling scout moving on down. That will get quickly taken out, but look at that, forcing some splash damage against those Infestors there. Couple Zerglings pushing down and again attempting to force the splash damage, very close to another shot going off against that one Infestor there. So that was a very, very close indeed. Axlsav actually unsieging one of those tanks, though, to try to prevent that from happening again. And the Zerglings over there from Nova will be pulling back, as well as Tosh, allowing them to actually break down these destructible debris themselves to try to work up into that high yield. Now, Tosh does appear to be moving down over here for an expansion, dropping his Nexus. Would like to see him actually get rid of those debris so that he can reinforce if this expansion does get hit. Otherwise, he's going to be very, very, very vulnerable to any speeding aggression that we may be seeing from StrifeCro. Although, again, still no metabolic boost, so he is just sticking Infestor heavy. In fact, that is all he's going for. We can see two more Infestors coming out. Axlsav almost prepared to take that high yield expansion. Full saturation over here for Nova at this expansion in the upper left-hand position. And again, as mentioned prior, we do see Tosh moving on into this expo. Looks like we have got Colossus coming out here for Tosh. That's what he'll be going for. Thermal Lance coming out. We've got some Medivacs coming into play as well over here for the Terran player Axlsav. So it looks like he will be going Marine tank heavy, but throwing in some Medivacs to allow him to get some drop harass and also bolster the effectiveness of those Marines. Right now, transferring down a bunch of probes, we are seeing Tosh move into that right-hand position expansion over at the 3 o'clock. Some nice creep spread going on that actually almost allowed StrifeCro to spot the fact that all those probes were transferring. I do believe that he did just miss that, though, so at the moment not aware, but ooh, look at this. We have got some burrowed Infestors moving down, and they will be actually heading directly towards this expansion. This is going to be a major problem. Tosh is in danger of losing all of those workers right now. First, StrifeCro checking this position, and then he will be moving on over to check this position as well. He'll be scouting out in just one moment. We also have Nova working down these back destructible debris. But here we go. Let's see what StrifeCro is able to do with this right now. He's got a tremendous opportunity. Looks like some infested Terrans going down, as well as those fungal growths. Now with those infested Terrans should allow him to take care of the rest of those workers, getting off almost all of them. One of them manages to escape, but the biggest thing about these infested Terrans is that they can also take out the Nexus. So look at them working down the Nexus right now. One of those infestors will be sitting right there. It looks like that Nexus will get taken out, and there's nothing that Tosh can do about it. Again, he doesn't have those close reinforcements because these destructible debris are still up right now. Didn't manage to take that out. An unbelievable Tosh losing the expansion at the 3 o'clock. Couple Zerglings moving down to scout. Big group of them actually got fungal growth there and did manage to lose a few there. A couple very low HP, and the rest of them do get mopped up. StrifeCro burrowing that drone is going to allow him to actually drop that hatchery. He was in danger of losing that. Very nice. We've got also Nova moving out over here with an Overseer, allowing him to spot StrifeCro's Infestor. So hopefully he's able to take that out there. I certainly don't see any reason why not. We do have some Stalkers over here. However, they do not have blinks, so it's going to be a little bit dangerous for them to venture over here, even if it is just to take out that one Infestor. Killing off a little bit of creep, but then forced to push back. as we've got a bunch of forces over here for Team EG moving out, trying to protect against that, but actually a couple Spielings moving down, and that's going to be enough to be able to take out this Infestor. Infestor trying to move back. There we go, dropping some Infestor turns. That's exactly what we wanted to see, and trying to actually block himself off with those Infestor turns, trying to do what they can for damage. Not going to be able to do all that much. Another burrowed Infestor actually preparing to move down into this expansion, and unfortunately losing a few Marines there. Now it needs to be very, very careful, because here we go. Here comes that burrowed Infestor moving on up into this Expo, actually going right by that spine crawler, spore crawler rather. He needs to be very careful, dropping a fungal growth. He does want that second one. Is he going to get it? Yes, he does, killing off a whole bunch of workers there. Very, very, very nice play from StrifeCro. Then trying to hide himself in that left-hand position over there. So some very nice harass is what we've been seeing over here from Team EG. Certainly has been very effective, killing off this one Nexus over here and also killing off a ton of workers over here of Novas. And he does still have that Infestor located over here. We do have Mouse's Nova prepared to take this expansion. Also, as we can see, Tosh does have this expansion up, starting to get that nice and saturated. There are those heavy Colossus numbers. As mentioned earlier, he is going for that Colossus style play. We are seeing pretty bio-heavy as well as tanks and a few Vikings in the mix over here coming out for Axlsav. All the while, it does appear like StrifeCro, yeah, just still sitting Infestor heavy. He's got a few Spielings in the mix, but that's pretty much it. In fact, I don't even know if those are Spielings yet. No, they're not even, so he's not even bothering with Zerglings this game. Does have a Spire transition coming out. We can see that Hive Tech also researching, so we may very well see him actually go straight into Broodlords. Now, in terms of expansions, in these team games, it's certainly very difficult to get up expansions for very long. I mean, as you can see, just the sheer amount of harass that goes on. In fact, taking a look at this now, StrifeCro with this Burrowed Infestor, able to kill off the probe that was attempting to drop an expansion. Also will be taking out these pylons here with those infested Terrans. Few roaches for Nova preparing to move on down. They need to be very, very careful though, because StrifeCro here and his teammate Axlsav have a lot of units prepared to actually take those out very quickly. So again, very difficult to reinforce that without getting rid of these rocks, but I'm assuming that Tosh is concerned about taking out those rocks because he doesn't want to deal with StrifeCro just moving right up into his main. But again, it makes it so difficult to actually defend this position if you try to expand over here. We do have an expansion actually attempted over here for Tosh, moving on to the far left side in the 9 o'clock position, and that's going to be very interesting to see if they can defend that, especially if we see Axlsav break down these rocks here. Should make for a quick and easy passage to this expansion, so it's going to be certainly very difficult for him to defend that, but again, if they break down these rocks, then they have to worry about Spielings running right up into the main. Another expansion for StrifeCro coming out over here. Also with this creep spread, Nova is able to delay any possible expansion that we may be seeing Axlsav come out with. Again, as we can see, Axlsav is prepared to drop another expansion. That command center is building right over there. Zelnog Tower is maintained over here by StrifeCro with those infested Terrans, if not just for a moment, and actually a few Spielings moving out over here. And are they going to be able to do much of anything? Nice fallen growth going down. Those burrowed Infestors, but again, with that Observer there, allowing him to take out those Infestors, no problem. And the Spielings pulling back. However, they do look a little cornered right now. A little bit concerned. All it would take is for Axlsav or StrifeCro to move on in there and quickly and easily take out those few units. Tosh moving now to attempt to protect a couple of these Spielings and hopefully allow them to actually push on out of the base. But here we go, siege line actually moving forward here for Axlsav, going to make it very difficult for those Zerglings to actually leave. We have a command center about to get dropped, and where exactly is that coming from? Looks like Axlsav preparing to drop a command center right over here, and again, sieging up is going to allow him to do that pretty effectively, allow him to move in there probably without much of an issue. Nova actually patrolling down over here, trying to deal with any possible burrowed infestors that may try to move on into this position. Tosh working his way towards the center of the map, and actually here we go, Nova coming out with Broodlord Infestor himself, and we do expect to also see Broodlord Infestor over here for StrifeCro, although I haven't seen any yet. Doesn't look like StrifeCro has any. It's got a lot of Corruptors, but no Infestors as of yet, and here we go, that expansion getting prepared to get laid down, scan going down, allowing him to spot those Zerglings, quickly taking all of them out. No problem whatsoever, and that command center slowly but surely making its way right on over into this position. A burrowed Zergling plus this Infestor preventing Tosh from being actually able to get up that expansion right now. He still does not have that up. We've got a ton of Infestors over here. Finally seen some ton of Broodlords. Finally seen some Broodlords coming over here for StrifeCro, and again, Roach, Infestor, Corruptor, Broodlord is what we're seeing actually from both Zerg players here. No roaches at all actually here for StrifeCro, and here we go, a little bit of an engagement moving down. In fact, we are going to be seeing those Broodlords finally come into play. Brewlord's moving down here for Nova. Needs to be very careful about the any sort of Vikings that we may be seeing over here from Axlsav. He certainly does not want to walk into that. We can see actually a few Vikings. Where did they go? There we go. So Axlsav sitting over here with these Vikings, and that's going to be a major concern, of course, for those Brewlords. He's going to need some Corruptors plus some Fungal Growths from those Infestors to be able to actually protect against that. And Tosh preparing to move right up into the main here of Axlsav, and here we go right now. Tosh moving directly into the main. Stalkers blinking up. Colossus moving down as well. We have got the Infestors as well as those Brewlords on the backside here for Nova, trying to protect against any sort of a counterattack, but it actually looks like Axlsav and StrifeCro may be moving up for a direct counterattack. We may be seeing a base trade, but look at this. Tosh is pulling back right now with Nova, preparing to engage a couple of those Corruptors, engaging with those. Oh my gosh, no! All of those Vikings target firing down Nova's Brewlords. That is a huge problem. Major Fungal Growth going down over here, but StrifeCro with a hefty amount of Brewlords should help a lot against this Protoss army. We've got a couple of siege tanks still up right now. Those giant Fungal Growths doing so much damage to the bio, but do they have enough right now? The remaining Brewlords trying to do what they can. We've got a couple Corruptors in play as well, and it does look like they're going to get overwhelmed with the Blink Stalkers moving right under those Brewlords, allowing him to snipe them down. Vikings moving down to try to push down some of these Colossus. The Colossus trying to retreat to the safety here of that one Photon Cannon. Got a couple of Blink Stalkers finally pushing back, and oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Another expansion coming over here for StrifeCro. We got some nice saturation over here for Axlsav as well. That was a very, very intense engagement between these two teams, and it does look like Tosh and Nova prepared for another push, moving down into this high yield expansion. They'll be trying to do what they can, laying as much damage as possible as Team EG is rebuilding their forces at the moment after losing that big engagement there, and it looks like this orbital command will get taken out without issue as they prepare to also move into the main base. Would like to see them try to push against this expansion, but they may be skipping it altogether, not even bothering. A little Infestor moving down, trying to get a little bit of damage, laid a Fungal Growth, but didn't end up doing too much damage at all. And this is a very, very hefty push here coming from Tosh. Tosh sitting with the bulk of the forces, and look at that, StrifeCro leaving the game, and Axlsav leaving the game as well. Alright guys, that was game number 1 here between Team EG and Team Mouse. We'll be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.